You know, the question about how universities actually mold their students' expectations about work-life balance is a very interesting one. You know, we're at elite universities like Dartmouth, you only get in if you have a resume that looks like you've never slept. And then most of the time on campus, you know, he or she who does the most is valued the most. And yet then we want you suddenly to start valuing life in addition to work. I actually think it's up to universities like Dartmouth or like Princeton to start emphasizing from the moment a freshman sets foot on the campus that downtime is important. Time with friends is important. The nurturing and cultivation of human relationships is as important as whatever it is you think is going to add an extra line to your resume, both in terms of your health, your well-being, but also, frankly, your life prospects. Those friendships will probably do you much more good over your lifetime, both professionally and personally, than adding that one more extracurricular onto your CV. Boy, the question of challenges facing higher education is such it's a big one. I think higher education is about to be profoundly disrupted. Disrupted just like the music industry, journalism, stockbroking. We are in the knowledge business. We are charging a lot of money for the imparting of knowledge to others. Essentially, technology is going to make it possible, or is making it possible, for people who are thirsty for that knowledge to get it from the very best for a much, much lower price. So the question then of how do universities like Dartmouth or Princeton both survive that disruption, but also actually how do they profit from it? And I don't just mean profit in terms of financial resources. I mean, how do they teach differently? How do they provide their students with different kinds of experiences? If everyone can have the experience of the lecture hall, what is it that we then can do that still justifies people coming to these wonderful places beyond, you know, the brand and the label of graduation? It is absolutely true that what we're seeing are gender roles. You know, many people talk to me about what it's like negotiating caregiving and breadwinning in a same-sex couple, right? Where suddenly you've got two women or two men, somebody's got to do more of the bringing in the income and somebody's got to do the caregiving. How are you going to think about that? So I think the most important thing you can start with is to change the vocabulary and change the lens. And the vocabulary, we never talk about working fathers. We assume fathers are working because that's what we assume fathers do. We talk about working mothers, and that's because we're still assuming women are in the home. And if you start asking yourself to interrogate all those ways in which we're still reinforcing gender stereotypes, but instead, as I said, think about a couple of the same gender, or think about a guy who assumes he's got to be the breadwinner because that's what his gender has always done, and start essentially disrupting those stereotypes. Change the vocabulary, change the lens, and make everyone aware that they're enacting roles that are imposed upon them, but that they can in fact change.